If everyone in the world woke up and all of a sudden saw your brand when they woke up, you would be the most popular brand in the world and you would sell an unbelievable amount of your product. Even if everyone in the world isn't interested in your product, by simply just being in front of their face, they would understand who you are, they would search for you, they would click through to your website. That is exactly what happens when we're doing this in Meta. Hey, I'm Josh and welcome back to Elite Brands, where we show you how to scale your e-commerce brand. In today's video, we are going to do a deep dive on the one campaign everyone should be running in 2025 to generate more new customers than they ever have before. This is important for you if you're looking to scale without just hitting a certain cap and not being able to grow past a certain point. Another side benefit of this is that it'll also skyrocket your Google Ads performance. We'll get into that in a second. This strategy is easy to implement and will generate more awareness for your brand than you have ever had. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to implement this new customer generating campaign and how to optimize it further. All right, so I've got my whiteboard here and I'm going to walk you through the campaign structure. This is the campaign structure that we use day in, day out for years now, that has been able to take our accounts that we manage and scale them to the next level. What we do here is we have one campaign up the top. That's a poorly drawn square. What I'll do here is I'll do that. And we call it the TOF, or the top of funnel campaign. Okay. So this here, you can call it whatever you want. We don't care. It's just the way that we do it is we refer to the funnel system. What we do once we've got that campaign, we have one ad set and we have 3 to 5 different ads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This ad set is set for the engagement objective, specifically engagement with a post. So there's a couple different options that you'll get when you select the engagement objective. You need to make sure that it's engaging with a post, which is specifically these ads down here. The reason why we go after the engagement objective is it is the most relevant objective for what we're trying to achieve at this top of funnel level. If you go after a reach objective, Meta is going to go out and find people that are the cheapest possible people to show an ad to, which are essentially the bottom feeders of the Meta ads ecosystem. You don't ever want to run a reach ad unless you've got very dedicated audience targeting around that, very specific audience targeting around that. The other alternative that we see in most accounts is they do like to run what's called a traffic objective, which basically drives traffic to the site and says, hey, I want you, Meta, to optimize for a very specific landing page view or click from the ad to the website. The problem with that is that it just drives a whole bunch of people that click on ads and don't do anything further. The really detrimental thing with that is that it then dilutes your pixel, and Meta then goes, look at all these people that have come and visited the website. They must be really engaged with the brand to the point where they've clicked through from Meta to the website. They must be high value. I'm going to start bidding more for those people. And you're bleeding money there because you're just spending all this money on people that aren't going to engage with your content. They've come onto the website. They've maybe spent 10 seconds on site. They wouldn't have clicked through on any other pages. They wouldn't have even had the time to load all of the page and read through it, and they're already gone. They've bounced. So have a look. If you are running a traffic campaign, have a look at your GA4, have a look at your website analytics, and look at the traffic that campaign is driving particularly. And I would be willing to bet that you're seeing that. It's almost a guaranteed. So that leaves us with one objective, and that's the engagement objective. The engagement objective is going to be the most cost-effective way to get your ads in front of people that are going to be most likely to purchase from you in a week to 30 days time. The reason why that is because the way that the Meta ads algorithm works, and the way that the Meta algorithm works in general for post serving, how it serves posts to potential customers and to people in general, yourself included, is it will find a personalized profile for you, and it will match all of the posts that you're most likely to be interested in and show you that in your feed. It's very, very rare in 2025 for you to go viral across everyone's feeds unless you're caught up at a Coldplay concert, which is completely outside of the normal. At the moment, to go viral, you're going viral in niche areas. You're not going viral across everyone's feeds. You're going viral in some people's feeds, broken up by their demographic or by their interests. So what that means is that Meta has and this is obviously with the advancement of AI, it has a way better idea, a much better idea of who your customer is, and therefore what content they want to be served. Meta's ultimate goal is to have you as the user, or your customers as the user, stay on platform for as long as possible by serving them engaging content. So if we can provide them with engaging content that is related to our brand and ask Meta to go and serve it to people that are going to engage with our brand, what that does is that generates people who are willing to engage with your brand. And you're taking them from completely unaware of your brand, your services, your solution, and moving them into a warmer audience, which we can then ultimately target and get their emails, start advertising them with like remarketing campaigns, and then ultimately turn them into a loyal customer. Without this step, without turning them into, without going after this engagement objective, what you end up doing is, let's say you have purchase objectives only in your ad account. Your purchase objectives will go after new audiences, but at a much higher CPM, a way higher CPC, and a significantly higher cost per engagement, right? Which is what we ultimately want at this top of funnel stage. If we flip that and we go, well, let's spend the same amount of money that we're spending on new audiences in the purchase objective campaigns and push that onto top of funnel, all of a sudden we're reaching 10 times as many people. I'm pulling that number out of my backside. But let's say you're reaching like 2 to 3 times more people, 2 to 3 times more people for the same price, and they're becoming more and more engaged over time. You can then serve them your purchase objective ads, then they convert. Without this top of funnel, you do not have a sufficient amount of new customers that are being engaged with your brand. That is the function of that ceiling that you might be hitting in your ad account. So if you're spend, and then you hit a certain ceiling and then ROAS starts to decrease, or your MER starts to decrease, or your NCAC, your new customer acquisition cost, starts to increase, what you're finding is that Meta is having a hard time understanding who a new customer is. So you've exhausted all of the people that are most likely going to purchase. If we bring that down, reduce, completely forget about all that, and go, let's go after a top of funnel engagement campaign. You're spending all this money generating cold traffic all the time and cold engagement all the time. So your scale campaign or your purchase objective campaign doesn't ever get to that point where it can't find new customers, because you're always generating those new customers with this engagement campaign. That's why it's so powerful. We've been running this for years now, and it has been game changing for us. And with the upcoming updates, to iOS 26, and the privacy changes and updates that that's going to have, and the impacts that that's going to have, this is going to become more and more important for us to make sure that we are generating as many cold customers as we possibly can for an as efficient rate as possible. So you can go and spend all your money in the scale campaign, in your purchase campaign, and you're going to hit that ceiling, and you can keep spending to get new customers, and you will get new customers. However, it'll be expensive, and that's the ceiling, right? So this engagement ad set, the thing that you need to keep in mind is that we need to add exclusions to the audience that we're going to target here. You want to exclude all web traffic, web add to carts, web purchases, anything that's coming from your Pixel and Cappy integration, you need to exclude it. The other thing you need to do is you need to export your customer lists and also your engaged lists. So we recommend doing this through Klaviyo. It has an automated sync day to day where it will automatically pull all the data into the Meta ad account and exclude them. If you're not using Klaviyo, please do. There's a link in the description to book a call with us if you've got any questions about anything that I'm talking about. If you need us to set up that Klaviyo integration, please reach out. That's not a problem. When we do that Klaviyo integration, we exclude all profiles, any single piece of data that we've got, whether it's your email, phone number, first name, etc. We all push that to Meta, and we say we do not want them to be in this system, in this top of funnel cold system, because they're not cold, right? So if they've come to your website, engaged with you, or they're, in your customer lists, they're engaging with your emails, SMSs, etc. They're familiar with your brand. We do not want them to be here, and we want to make sure Meta knows that, because otherwise, if you leave this open, Meta's just going to go after these guys and push the ads to these guys. And these guys, some of them will be loyal customers, and they'll be engaging with you because they love you. They engage with your normal organic social posts. So we don't want to do that here. Finally, for the ads and what we need to do here, they must be videos. Okay, they cannot be images. They must be videos. The reason being is that the engagement objective does not work for images. The reason being is that videos watch time. So if you watch like 3 seconds or have a through play, so watch the whole video, that is a form of engagement. So instantly Meta wants videos because they have way higher engagement rates than images do. Create 3 to 5 of these. We would suggest that you create wildly different videos, but please make sure that they are relevant to your cold customers. So these are people who have never heard of your brand, never heard of your products, are not familiar with the solution that you provide, and are not familiar with the experience that you provide. And we just shot a video recently. Have a look at the YouTube channel, going through the 10 top ads that we are seeing working well for brands in 2025. Have a look at that, watch that, apply those learnings to this. A lot of it is leaning on the experience that people get from engaging with your brand or purchasing from your brand. Yeah, watch that, put in those 3 to 5 video ads, and you're good to go. So that is the campaign structure and the strategy behind what we do, why we do this. Now, the reason why this is so good, and some of the data that we've been able to pull out from this, is that when we engage with this cold audience in Meta and we generate these people, there's a whole lot of other side effects that happen. And we've understood this now because we've been running this strategy for years. The biggest one that happens, and probably the most relevant for you if you're running an ecom brand, is your Google ads. Okay. I like to play out this scenario for brands when I'm talking to them, is that if everyone in the world woke up and all of a sudden saw your brand when they woke up, you would be the most popular brand in the world and you would sell an unbelievable amount of your product. Even if everyone in the world isn't interested in your product, by simply just being in front of their face, they would understand who you are, they would search for you, they would click through to your website. That is exactly what happens when we're doing this in Meta. So when we're optimizing for engagement in Meta, people are becoming more aware of your product and they go, who is that? What they will end up doing is they'll come over to Google, or, into the future, it'll be ChatGPT or some other AI tool that they're using to search. For now, it's Google. They'll come to Google and they will search for your brand name. Now, if you've ever run Google Ads, you know that getting branded traffic is unbelievably profitable, because if they're already searching for your brand, they're already aware of your product. Some of them might already be convinced that they're going to purchase from you because they've already associated you with as an authority figure in your space, or you as a high quality solution provider in your space. If they're searching for your brand, your ROAS are going to be through the roof. So if you told your Google Ads team that, hey, we can increase your branded search impressions, like within the first 30 days, they would say, yes, please. Like anything we can do to do that would be brilliant, right? When we run this top of funnel campaign, we find that this brand impressions skyrocket. It's just something that happens. And it doesn't obviously take a rocket scientist to figure out why. More people are being engaged and are aware of your brand for cheaper, more efficient rates. So therefore your brand engagement goes up. One of the big issues that Google Ads has is that it's a little bit expensive. I would say it's more expensive than Meta, definitely. But it's definitely harder to get new customer acquisition through Google Ads because they've always got to have some sort of awareness of either your product or your brand, right? In order to have that search intent. That's what Google Ads is it's capitalizing off of people's search intent. The only exclusion to that is going to be like your YouTube ads. Some of the PMAX related stuff is going to go after that cold awareness. And I would encourage you, trial that. If you can run in your Google Ads system this cold top of funnel traffic system where you're going after just simply video views, trial it. We find that it works better in Meta. Like significantly better in Meta. But it ultimately does come down to brand, right? Some brands we find that it works quite well in Google Ads, some brands it doesn't. So that concludes this video about how you can create the one campaign that's going to drive your new customers to your brand and ultimately get you scale. If you want to book a call with us to understand more about how that looks for your brand, please, there's a link in the description below. Come and visit that. Otherwise, we'll be in the comments. If you've got any questions, please just comment away and we'll get back to you. Otherwise, we've got a whole host of videos on our YouTube channel that I think that you would be quite interested in if you're watching this video and if you're listening to me say this and you've watched this whole thing. So please look at our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit like if you're liking what we're pushing out and the information we've got for you. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.